Hi everybody, this is Cyrus Ojadi. So today we have this event, which is a Women's Symposium event. Now, it's not about the Women's Symposium event. I want to talk about this. I want to know why in the world, so let's take a look at this. So this is a Women's Symposium event right here, and look who's behind this. MGM Resorts International. That's right, these billionaires, these sharks, by the way, headed by the CEO of MGM Resorts is Jim Murren, the same guy who funds Center for American for Islamic Relations, the same guy who funds the Southern Poverty Law Center. He is behind all this women feminist stuff. And by the way, I don't really see this as empowering women. I believe that it's a system that brings down both men and women. Now, this event right here, they didn't give me one chance to ask a question because there's a lot of problems that men face. There's a lot of discrimination that men face. There's a lot of discrimination and double standards against white people, but they don't care. And what I see is that this is not really about equal rights. It's about giving people privileges. So, you guys need to expose Jim Murren, the CEO of MGM Resorts. He is funding all this. Look, I'm going to show you the brochures right now. I'm going to show you the brochures. It's absolutely insane. It's important that you get this video across as much as you can. Right here, Women's Alliance, MGM Resorts, right here. And look at this right here. It's unbelievable. This is a man, the CEO of MGM Resorts. I would like to know why. Hi everybody, this is Cyrus Ojadi. So we're actually live here in Charleston Boulevard. Here's the Stratosphere Tower. And as you can see here, here's the Consulado of Mexico right here. Do you see this? Consulado of Mexico. I want to know why is Las Vegas having a Consulado of Mexico? I wonder who's behind this. Jim Murren, are you behind this? Harry Reid, Cortez Masto, Culinary Workers Union? You see, folks, this is the problem. This is a planned, manipulative invasion, folks. They are helping, very likely, illegal aliens to come in and take over our society. Right here, we're going to expose this. Why isn't so much of the public is aware that such an agency, such a department actually exists? You know, this area is becoming more and more frightening by the month I'm living here, believe it or not. Somebody ought to shut this place down. Look at this. They have a Mexican flag right here. Maybe they should have a Consulado of Iran. Maybe they should represent the Iranian American community. But oh no, this is part of the plan. This is part of the evil agenda of George Soros and all these other extremists that are trying to take over the nation. Do what you can. Fight these people. Get rid of these monsters and these aliens out of our society. Because folks, if you think just sitting there and voting is going to do much, you are wrong. You got to do more than just vote. You got to stand up, spread the truth, and take to the streets. Everybody, thank you guys so much. So anyway, expose this Consulado of Mexico right here. Look at this. Entrada. They don't even have a sign that says exit right here or enter. This is so unfair. Unbelievable. Oh, and look at this. Look at this. Private property. Ooh, oh my gosh. So they can do anything they want. Take care, everybody. Hi, everybody. This is the office. This is the event for Emma Villiela. So apparently she's not letting me in the office because for some reason she doesn't respect my views. So she's a congresswoman. She's supposed to respect my views on immigration. I asked her that I respect immigrants too, but I care about the ones who are coming here legally. This is the poster right here, Emmy Villiela. So if you see this video, look at this. She's banning me from entering the office. Can you believe this? She's banning me from entering the office. And guess what? I agree with you on some issues on Wall Street. You don't even know how I'm going to become. You just assume, by just looking at me, you just ban me from the events. I have not committed any threat whatsoever. So get this video as much as you can, spread this information, and by doing this, you're hurting your chances for winning the election. Same with Ruben Kiyuen. Crescent Hardy's going to win the nomination. If you guys keep doing this, I'm spreading the information, okay? Don't use political correctness and taxes to prevent me from coming in. I'm for legal immigration, low amount of immigrants. Illegal immigration is a crime. You have people that have committed felons, Kate Steinle. You have people that have stolen false social security numbers, like State Senator Kevin De Leon. Why don't you expose about that? Why don't you expose the corruption and double standards from Harry Reid, the Culinary Workers Union? You are trying to turn Las Vegas into Los Angeles, and we are going to stop you. Thank you so much. Take care. Sorry it cut off just there, but I show you a little bit about what was going on, just that stand and everything. Let me tell you, folks, Jim Murren, in my opinion, is a very, very dangerous person. There's no question about it. I mean, this guy is certainly, based on what I see, he's behinding all of this, okay? He's the guy that's pumping diversity, which is basically, the way I see it, is just a way of saying F you to the white man, even though he is a white man, so which is kind of hypocritical. I think he should probably be fired to kind of diversify the workplace. And by the way, I was at that event. Jim Murren, to me, is another Soros of Clark County. That's what he is. Just like Tom Stoyer, the California billionaire, is a Soros of California. By the way, he visited the UNLV campus to pump up the DACA Dreamers and everything else. And by the way, speaking of the DACA Dreamers, at the event, I went within first minute and I saw Astrid Sylvia, and then they kicked me out of the SEIU building. This is absolutely unbelievable to see what's going on. So, anyway, we had a representative from the Dina Titus Congressional House. And of course, she was talking about Emily's List. Oh yeah, we're going to empower women. Yeah, Emily's List is funded by George Soros. You should all think about that. So just because a female candidate doesn't say directly from George Soros, if you look at their campaign contributions, does not mean that they have no connection, because their PACs, their organizations are tied with George Soros. You need to expose all these billionaires, Soros, Murren, the Koch brothers, all these other people. You have to get out there and explain what in the world is going on. So, again, I was in there. Within like 2 minutes, you had like a police officer approach me, says, you say anything or do anything, we're going to kick you out. And all I asked was like, why is MGM Resorts International sponsoring this crap? Why is the fact is that MGM Resorts is constantly promoting this BS? And then police came over. There were like 5 police officers in that event, thinking like there was going to be like some kind of Armageddon that's going on. It is absolutely incredible. It is so crazy to see. It's like a fascist police state. They talk about free rights and everything. They're imposing a fascist police state on me because they don't want to know what in the world is going on. That's what it is. And you know what I think it was? And I was at the event. They didn't even let me ask one question. So I booed in the middle of the event. Then a cop told me, you say one more thing, we kicked me out. And then I played by the rules. I played by the rules. I said, can I ask a question? And they didn't let me ask a question. It's total double standards. They don't care. They don't want to compromise. They don't want to hear our grievances, that all the crap that men have to go through every other day. It is absolutely unbelievable. It is absolutely sickening. So, the way I see this event, it's anti-white hate. That's just what I think it is. They want to blame, oh, it's all the white man's fault. We have to bring down white men to somehow solve problems. So that's what this is really, really about. They want to blame. And I'm going to get to that later on. So, I was at the panel discussion looking at what was going on. They were telling about equity. What is equity? It's about giving extra privileges to suppressed minorities, to people of color, to women. Well, hey, guess what? That's not equal rights. That's discrimination against me. If you're making hiring practices, if you're reducing test scores, and if you're giving privileges to certain people, you're discriminating not against white straight men, but you're discriminating against Iranians, you're discriminating against Koreans, many other Asians. That is discrimination. So talk about double standards right there. It's all BS. Everybody knows what's going on. If you think that this is just happening in California, no. It's happening here in the Las Vegas area. It's time to expose what's going on. I'm going to keep fighting hard to make sure that Las Vegas does not end up looking like another Los Angeles. I don't want my state to become another California. So, all this affirmative action, all this equity, That's what this is about. They keep promoting transgenderism. This is a sign of degeneracy. This is a sign of family decline. Wake up, see, and watch out about what in the world is really, really going on. And stop talking about women are unequal. How are they unequal? Where in the world are women are unequal? I just want to know. Women have divorce laws that favor them. Women have welfare programs that favor them. Women have a situation where a woman can marry a woman, divorce, and take half of his wealth or all of his wealth, and the man leaves with nothing. This is why we have so much abuse and societal problems. This is why so many men are so depressed nowadays. Wake up. Realize about what's going on. What about all the dating choices? A man who's a 10 can go on Tinder and get far less hits than a woman who's a 1. We don't talk about this stuff. What about all the false rape and sexual harassment accusation that goes on? But they don't talk about that. And you know what the sad thing is? The sad thing is the fact that it's making men and also women less happy. There's a lot of statistics that prove that men are less happy, and even women, than they were ever since women keep putting themselves in careers, in schools, and all this equal rights, son of a gun, because we know exactly what is going on. But they kept on pushing around, putting a police state dictatorship, didn't respect my free speech. This was a public building. I had the right to say what I want to say. I should not have 5 police officers coming after me. I have no criminal record. But they don't care. I'm so glad I went to that event. I'm so glad I went out there, gave them opposition. But all you people out there who live in Southern Nevada, you got to go to these events, give some opposition, know, and explain about what the reality is going on. Because what's really sad is that they're suckering the people who's getting in. So, MGM is sponsoring this. You need to expose James Murren. I'm going to have big protest signs everywhere, really good quality. The center of the target is Jim Murren and also Astrid Silva, believe it or not. And it doesn't surprise me if they're good friends with her. I believe she's a Trojan horse. She's a very, very dangerous person. She's a DACA illegal alien who's trying to basically pimp votes, which is illegal, which I'm going to report to the Secretary of State, to sort of change our demographics, our way of life, our laws, our culture of Clark County. And we're going to make sure that that doesn't happen. Goodness gracious. Astrid Sylvia and James Murren. By the way, it doesn't surprise me. They're friends. They're friends with Harry Reid. They're friends with the Culinary Workers Union. Culinary Workers Union, in my opinion, as it seems, is the #1 terrorist organization of Clark County, Nevada. They are the real bigots. They are the real racists. We don't talk about this. We don't talk about the fact that white people face a lot of discrimination. Massive immigration flows into white countries, all in the name of diversity. Double standards, but we don't have that in Asian countries or African countries. Double standards. White people are not supposed to talk about the fact that their demographics are changing. Everything is about to evolve. So people have to start waking up. I was treated so unfairly in that event. But more of you guys there have to go out there and certainly speak out to these events. And you know what the real sad part is? You think that the white man is suppressing you? You know what you're really doing? You're giving the white man, which is like James Murren and all these other billionaires, because they fund this social justice warrior crap. They fund all these so-called movements and everything. They suppress and bring down the average white man and people like myself. And then when society comes down, and even the other categories, the minorities, are brought down, they laugh their way to the bank. They're scamming you. They're fooling you. They bring and they pump up all this indigenous, Native American, all this BS colonization, and it doesn't help. Okay? Get with the program. And maybe the reason why there's differences in gender in terms of income, in terms of race, and all these things, maybe because they're just different. The world IQ map certainly proves it. If you look at Africa, they weren't able to build a city before European civilization. Not as good as the Chinese or the Europeans or even people myself. We Persians, we built very great ancient civilizations. So that's the reality of what's going on, folks. You guys have to really expose and really share about what is going on. So share this video. So I'm going to be out there. And by the way, we have to have organizations for white people. We have to have organizations for straight men. How about that? If you want real equality, why don't we do that? All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Unbelievable. 5 police cars. It's just crazy. Sorry about that video cut off because my phone ran out of battery. It was like at, believe it or not, at 12%, and it just cut me off. So take care. Share this video. And share about what is going on. You know, the real haters are the people who suppress people's freedom of speech and push people around. That's the real hate. I expose the truth. Thank you so much. Take care. And by the way, I'm about to call Michelle Tracy, County Commissioner. I'm going to see exactly what he's really up to. So, yeah, we probably need people like him in charge because we got to stop this madness. And by the way, I heard his signs got vandalized or something, so they may do the same thing to me. Take care. Hi everybody, this is Cyrus Hojadi. So currently they have a CSN Women's Feminism event, and as you can see here, it's basically, in my opinion, all about double standards against, you know, saying that I guess they want you to believe that men is the problem and everything. So we have here somebody from Telemundo. So I want to know why Telemundo is part of this event.
La conversación muy importante sobre los derechos de las mujeres. El evento se lleva a cabo.
Derechos, rights. What kind of rights are they talking about right here? Welcome to the Status of the Women's Conference. Right here. And MGM is supporting this.
Draw a blank here, and there's a sheet. And you can change that sheet for as long as the goal is met and addressed. That's a feminist. And that's what I've heard from you guys today, so thank you. So the third question, second to the last question, guys, would be how important is social media, and other non-traditional media in spreading social justice awareness today?
Okay, I'll start. So I will start this question by saying I don't like social media. I really don't. I'm sorry, Maria. That's why I don't do social media with recruitment. So that's why Sienna does a much better job. Just because with social media, it tends to highlight a lot of the negative. So instead of sending the positive messages that social media has the ability to do, instead it's sending a lot of negative stories and comments. And like I cannot tell you the number of times I've gone on Women's Rights News on Facebook and seen someone comment something awful. So, and it just happens. And then as people, we always stick to those negative comments for longer than we do positive comments. I don't know why our brain works that way. I'm not a psychologist. And I'm not going to pretend to be. But it's just how we work. So I think that social media is only important to you if you see it as important in your life. And I will say that social media is important in the fact that it has brought awareness to more topics and to more groups and to more diverse topics and everything along those lines. Because, I'm sure in the 80s, which I can't speak for because I'm a 95 baby, so I'm assuming. But in the 80s, news was not as widespread as it is now. You weren't hearing about all these stories, somewhere in England or what have you. It's only if it made national news is when you really heard about it. As opposed to now, where I have a best friend who lives in Australia I've never met. But because of social media, we were able to talk and bond, and I can learn about her experiences and she can learn about mine. So it's good in that fact of where we're able to connect and see more stories and bring more awareness to topics. But there is also that negative connotation to it as well, which apparently I have a thing for negative connotation, I'm sorry. But I'm going to give this microphone to the journalism major because I'm sure she can talk about this more than I can.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but I actually disagree with what you're saying. Respectfully disagree. So social media has been it has made a huge impact specifically for people of color. It has allowed us to not only get our stories out there, but has allowed us to create groups where we feel safe, where we can dismantle our own, our oppression, discuss what has happened to us as folks that, are consistently in spaces where we have to deal with microaggressions on a daily basis. Other than that, it has also helped us increase our visibility in our social movements like Black Lives Matter. The children that are working on our March for Our Lives, it has helped them. We have things like Signal, which is a giant group chat different things that have worked for Women's March as well. I was the social media, one of my tasks was with social media last year and this year for the Women's March, and I believe we did a really good job of staying in communication with our folks out there that otherwise wouldn't have access to cable or to any other kind of social media out there. Going back to social media for specifically marginalized groups, I have seen an increase in specifically women of color and them being able to sell stuff. Like, we're out there and we are selling such amazing things. Like, Instagram is amazing right now. It's blowing up for the Latinx community, specifically Latinx women. And I think it's a great entrepreneurial tool. It's a great tool to gather people together. It's a great informational tool. We create transnational coalitions this way. And I'm sorry, I disagree, but social media has been one of the best ways for us to connect together, especially since one of the main things to create this oppression within groups is to keep us separated, and it has allowed us to continue together regardless of, miscommunications.
You said it a lot better. I wasn't trying to diminish at all. In fact, I do agree with what you're saying. And in fact, that's kind of what Stephanie and I were talking about a little bit earlier, of where it's been able, with social media, that more journalists are able to get out there and share their stories, specifically women. Unfortunately, I can't really speak for the women of color, community. I am more than welcome to share your stories, but I don't feel right speaking for you. I'd rather pass over the mic to you. But it has helped share those stories with social media, where the voice is more open. There are women reporters and other reporters and along those lines, because they've been able to grow from just social media. Because back, I'm sure in the 70s and 80s, where it was really unheard of for those kind of stories to be published. So I do agree with what you're saying 100%. And I do think you did say it better than I did. I will say that.
I do want to make sure that it's a little understood. We don't need, as a person of color, we don't need somebody to hand us the mic, respectfully. But what you can do is go out there and share our stories. You may not be able to talk about our stories, but you can definitely share them.
And you brought up a great point. What I love about these conversations is that we have a certain perspective. We get to hear other people and we learn from it, right? And I think that's what we've seen right now. We have two perspectives that may be very different, but at the end of the day, we have the same goal, and to give a voice for us women. So thank you for sharing that. Stephanie, would you like to add something?
Yeah, so I would go with facts right now. So according to Statista.com, and I apologize if I'm reading it because I don't want to get my facts wrong. As of 2017, daily social media usage of global internet users amounted to 135 minutes per day, up from 126 daily minutes in the previous year. Furthermore, global social working audiences surpassed 2 billion users in 2016. The most popular social network worldwide is Facebook. Surprise, right? With 1.86 billion monthly active users by the end of 2016. Other popular social networks include WeChat, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and Sina Weibo. So this is something to think about. As someone who wants to spread a message, to spread social justice awareness, you have to know how big of an audience you have to know how far you're impacting, how many lives you're impacting, how many people are listening to you, disagreeing or agreeing with you. Just knowing that, that's just social media, journalism majors, we also have to think about the non-traditional media too. So, and we also have to think about the newspapers itself, the print media, radio, all those sorts of things. If you are thinking about spreading social awareness, knowing your audience comes first. That's, I guess, what the message is I want to tell you guys, is that know how many ears are listening to you right now, so you know what to say. For you to give that 1 point that they want to remember for the rest of their lives. So I leave it at that.
Frankie, would you like to add?
I'll actually wait for number 4. They pretty much all got it. I'll just wait
what
for
they
question
said.
1.
Yeah, what they said, okay. But from what I heard, we have social media can be used in a negative manner. But if we are aware of how powerful social media is, you mentioned the facts: Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. We even have Periscope, right? We have, what else? Instagram. I love what you said, Yesenia, when you said it's entrepreneurial too, right? So we can use social media to hate each other, to spread hate, but we can use social media to unite each other. And I think if we know how to respectfully disagree with each other and learn from each